Roots podcast, where we talk about sports, sustainability, and anything else that inspires us. Esther, welcome. Thanks for dropping by.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure to talk with you beforehand about some stuff in the food industry.
Yes.
Maybe you can tell a bit about it yourself, how you ended up where you're at right now, and what you're doing.
It's a long time ago. I started 30 years ago as a normal dietitian. Did my study in Amsterdam, and then always wanted to work with athletes. And so first couple of years normal dietitian work, losing weight, programs, etc. Always doing lots of stuff with sports. And 20 years ago I was the first, I was not the first, but I was a Dutch national champion in sports aerobics. So I did a lot of aerobics classes and step classes and spinning classes, and combined it with nutrition. With the goal, lots of people want to lose weight. So that was my first 10 years of my profession. And after a couple of 8 of 10 years, I thought, no, this is not what I want to do. And making the step to Amsterdam, and I thought, okay, now I want to work with athletes. So I did my study, sports dietitian, sport nutrition, and started to work with athletes, mostly football players. Yeah, and that's what I do right now. Yeah.
Interesting.
So I combine my work as a sport dietitian, also with training sessions, just for a hobby, and work with a lot of athletes. Almost only football players. Yeah.
And why soccer players? Because you don't have a background in soccer?
No.
Was there a reason for that?
No background in soccer, no. Just started to work with Fysiomet. It's a sport center in Amsterdam, and they work a lot with football players, with soccer. So that was that was the only sport I work with there, and then starting to expand it. Yeah.
And if you think about 20 years ago,
it's almost 18 years now. I work with
almost
soccer.
20.
Yeah, almost 20. Yeah. So.
We can say 20 for the sake of it. It's already a long time. And 20 years ago, and I mean now it's like sports nutrition and health is really big. But also, was it also the case back then, or?
No. So it's a good question, because a lot of times I tell people 30 years ago it was so a different world. So. And I think, okay, now I'm getting old. It's really, When I did my study, the only thing you can study was dietitian. So I did my interns in a hospital, because that was, something you need to do. And my last intern was in a hotel. And that was also different, because everyone... when you went to that education or that study, you went to the work field for a hospital or or like in the medical world. And I didn't want to work in the medical world, so I was in the 3rd year, and I thought, okay, this is not what I want to do. So when I had my exams and had my how do you say it? I finished my school, my study. I was okay. I'll go to the gym. I asked there if I can work with people over there, and I started there with classes like aerobic classes, and combined it with nutrition. And that was not something normal in that time. So it was really nice to start then, and I make my faults and learn. Yeah. So it was a really different time than now.
Yeah, because I can always see those old pictures of soccer players or people that practice sports, like smoking and drinking during the breaks and stuff. And if you look at it from now, it's like almost like a competitive advantage that people have right now as they learn more about food and how to implement it with sports.
20 years ago, it was a different time. So I started, I think, I started with AZ because I live near Alkmaar, and I started at AZ and as a sport dietitian on the youth academy. And they say, okay, Esther, you start with a couple of hours, and then it was the first time that they have a sports dietitian in their youth academy. So that was 14 years ago or something. So
interesting. Because now it's like part of basically, I think, every professional sports club almost, or not really.
It can be better, but we're starting there.
Yeah.
We're getting there. That's the better word. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, at least there's good progress there. Right?
Yes. Yeah. I think with cycling, nutrition is, I think, for everyone top on their mind because it's really important. For soccer, it's getting important. They see that on the high level. I don't know if you see the Champions League games. Yeah, it's fast. It's really a lot. It's really explosive jumps, quick running, everything. Physique, they need to be strong. Yeah, it's top sport, and they know now that the nutrition is also a important thing. Yeah.
And how do you see nutrition compared to other things that you can do in sports? Where would you rank like nutrition on for example, with training or taking care of your body?
I don't think you can rank it because if you want to be good, you need to train hard, and if you need to train hard, you need to eat well. It's not possible to train hard without any good fuel. So you need to have good fuel in your body to do all the exercises and also the recovery. So it's a combination. It's not possible to do one without the other. Yeah.
And is it, for example, when I was a kid, I was doing track and field.
Yeah.
And I was working out like 6 days a week, which was like 15 years ago when I started. But I wasn't eating healthy at all. But my body, I guess, could just handle it because I was eating candy all the time and I was training and it did work.
Yeah.
Is it difficult to convince like youth players and stuff with that, or?
Yeah, it's difficult.
Yeah.
Because they have talent and they want to play soccer or they want to do the track and field they don't see the how do you say it? They don't see necessity to eat well and it also takes time, and you need to make time to eat well, and it takes energy, and not everyone is feeling up to do it. So
and also maybe because I never felt like it when I was younger, like I needed something to change my diet because I had enough energy to do all the workouts and still feel pretty good. So it's, maybe also because you're young.
When I talk to young athletes, I always I try to find the hook. So I ask them, you have the whole game, you feel enough energy, or the second part you're getting more excited, more exhausted? Do you feel your legs or pain in your head or like something? You are searching for the hooks, and almost every time when you talk to someone, they say, okay, I feel this or that, and then you can tell them and explain them that nutrition is maybe the cause of it. So
So it's really interesting to find the hooks, because there's always something, right?
There's always something.
Convince people.
Yeah, but not everyone. If you are young and you're on the field and want to run and want to do your best, and I think it's normal that you don't think about nutrition. You think about, I need to get through it. I need to do it. So it's something. They don't think about nutrition as part of their education and a part of them grown up to be as a good athlete.
Yeah.
Sometimes I need to search for words.
It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
We're having a good time. It's if you need to translate some words on me, or happy to help. And so also, I mean, 20 years ago and now, it's interesting to see that change in sports nutrition or the awareness about it. What do you think about like in supermarkets? Has it changed a lot over the years for now with the change to more healthy lifestyles from what you've seen with sports? Does it also happen in the supermarkets? Or?
No,
right?
No, it's the opposite
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking the same.
Yeah. So what you see is right now in sports nutrition, everyone is talking about protein.
Mm-hmm.
It's protein this, it's protein that. And
Yep.
I think for a lot of athletes, the carbohydrates are more important. So it's about also the combination carbohydrates, protein, and fat. And sometimes you need more carbohydrates, and sometimes it's the protein which are important. But we now make protein more important, I think, than it's necessary. And what you see in the grocery stores, in the supermarket, everything is protein.
Yeah.
For everyone.
Yeah, they even put like on the same yogurt that they had before. Now they put like, oh, there's 10 grams protein there, but it was already there before, but people get triggered.
If you're doing once or twice like sports in a week, you need protein.
Yeah.
And you go to the supermarket and everything you see is protein this, protein that, 20 grams of protein, and like milk with protein, extra protein, and kvark with extra protein. I see pancakes with extra protein. I think pancakes are for carbohydrates. Why do I need pancakes with extra protein? So what I think is you need to eat carbohydrates, and then, okay, I like pancakes, it's for the carbohydrates, and now we make the combination of all kinds of nutrition and add some extra protein in it, and then they sell it better. I think it's all about marketing.
It is probably marketing.
It's a pain in the ass, yeah.
Yeah. And also, how do you convince people of that? Because if they think like, oh yeah, I've heard all these stories that I just need protein, why not increase the protein and I'll perform better, right? Yeah. You might get that question as well from the
and
athletes.
for most sports, you need to have enough carbohydrates, and carbohydrates are more in the corner of they are bad and they're making me fat, and it's about the insulin and sugar rush and everything. That's what people think about when you say carbohydrates. And when you say protein, they think all positive things. They think about muscles and recovery, but it's the same in calories. And if you are it's strange. It's all marketing. And there are, of course, a lot of research that protein is good for your body to recover and to build, and you need it, but you need it in a certain amount. And when you do like twice a week, like fitness or CrossFit or something, you don't need extra protein shakes. Not at all. Just the normal food is enough.
Yeah.
But the marketing says, and the Instagram says, and TikTok says, do the protein shakes and eat like extra kvark with protein, and
And that's also a big change in the past 20 years, right? Social media wasn't the thing back then. Now it is.
Yeah.
Does it also come with
challenges?
challenges?
I make my own podcast, and the last episode is about behavior and the surrounding, and what you see is what the expert says to me. He said, okay, social media is now the new mouth-to-mouth advertisements. First, so many years ago, it was your neighbor or your friend or your mother or the teacher or someone who says to you, okay, Esther, or you need to eat this or you need to eat that. And now it's social media. That's the difference. But social media, it's larger, and
there's way more impact. And also, I think sometimes the more shocking things people say, the more likes it gets, or the more attention it gets, because it's new or it's
for sure. And for sure is that it's that when you making hard one-liners, you see the likes, and if you are up to more nuance, people don't interested in nuance messages. They want the black and white part. And that's sometimes frustrating, because I'm a dietitian, sports dietitian. I want people to inform, and also, that my podcast is an inspiration to change habits and to change the nutrition if you need it to reach your goals. But always in a certain amount of nuance. Yeah, and that's it's sometimes difficult.
Yeah, it
because
doesn't trigger
people want one-liners. Yeah.
It's always the same in news, right? If you have nuanced news about this is going on, but there's also another side to the story. People don't listen to that. They just want this is bad, this is good, and
they want to know, okay, what do I need? 20 grams of protein. Okay, I eat 20 grams of protein, but. Yeah, if your weight is like 60 kilos or like 80 kilos, you need different amounts. So, and then you get the more difficulties. What is good for me? And then, it's, I think, also a challenge and also sometimes difficult to make nutrition more personal.
Yeah.
And when you make it more personal, there is no black and white. So then you need more information and. They told me that now the concentration of the youth is like 8 or 10 seconds. So you need to make like short films, like 8 or 10 seconds, and then they are gone.
Maximum 8, right? if you look at TikTok, it's like 4 or 5 seconds, and after that you just lose them.
So what kind of information do you put in 4 seconds?
Yeah, we have to talk really, really fast.
Finished. So.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see that, and also because it probably gets worse over time as well. But there's more information available, so it's even more difficult to get that to the people.
Yeah, but what I see right now is I started my podcast like 1.5 years ago. It's out frustration because of what I heard, what I heard from my clients, what I see, what I read, everything. And I see that there are more experts, more colleagues now on social media telling the same message as I do. So we become a little bit larger, and our group followers are becoming more larger, and the message, that nuance is also really important. It's getting bigger. Yeah,
that's nice.
Yeah,
and also maybe if the audience gets older, there's more nuance to life than maybe younger people think. So,
yeah, but the youth is now growing up with the black and white messages.
Yep.
So I think when you're like younger and you grow up with that kind of message, it's really difficult, I think, to change when you become older.
Yeah, I mean, all the habits are difficult to change, definitely.
That's the biggest challenge in the world, to change habits. So that's why it's so important that when you're between like 16 or 25, that the message on social media is getting better. They need to be more ruled.
Yeah.
More.
How can you do that? Because if someone just says something blatantly wrong,
it's the government. The government needs to do something of all the bullshit on the social media. That's there are a lot of people telling untrue stories, and it's without any warning. So they can say you need, like, for example, with nutrition, the how do you say it, the pre-workouts.
Yeah.
The pre-workouts with caffeine, beta-alanine, and high doses of caffeine. So for a lot of young athletes, it's too much of caffeine. They take
heartburn and gets bad.
So it's really also different. It's not always how do you say it? Hoe zeg je dat? Nou, niet dat het niet schuldig is. It's not harmful.
Not harmful or harmless.
Yeah, not harmless. It's not always harmless.
Yeah.
Supplements can be. Dan moet ik even nadenken hoor. Supplementen die kunnen vervuild zijn.
They can be stained.
Contained.
Yeah.
Supplements can be contained. So there's there's a lot to do with it. So I think that the government needs, to
regulate it a bit more.
Regulate it a bit more. And not only the big accounts for 500,000 followers and more, but 100,000 followers are also a big account, and they can do more than that. There are no rules.
Yeah, it's mainly because of attention, and especially if they have like whatever their own protein shake that they're trying to sell to people, or their own program that they want to re people in.
That's the only way. That's the only thing why they do it. Is they tell a message, and after the message they sell supplements or they sell a program. And there is nothing wrong with marketing, and nothing wrong to earn money with it, but it's wrong when you tell people the wrong things. And especially when you're young, because you cannot think clear what's right and what's wrong. You need to learn it.
Yeah. And also,
there is a job to do there.
There is definitely a job to do. And on that point, what do you think about, or how does it tie in with the ever-changing science on sports nutrition? Because I can see that 20 years ago, people might have a different understanding of how important some stuff is compared to now, or doesn't that really change that much?
No, there's not quite a big change. That's why I think, because there's no big changes, people are going to search for changes because they want to sell something.
Yeah.
And there are, you have creatine. There's a lot of scientific evidence for creatine, but that's it. There is now beta-alanine. There is caffeine. But there's, you have the sports drinks and the gels. You have carbohydrates. The nutrition, the normal nutrition is the largest part of a good nutritional plan for athletes. But what you see when you go on internet, it's all supplements, it's sports drinks, it's all that. And they forget that the largest thing and the largest good thing you can do for you as an athlete is to have a good basic nutrition, to have a plan of the amounts of carbohydrates that suits on your intensity of the program. And a lot of our athletes don't think about it. So when I work with athletes, it's, what is your week program? What is the week schedule? What do you do on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday? What do you do when you have a game? And then I need to think about, okay, on this day you need that amount of carbohydrates. On Thursday you need this. That's the biggest part. And that's what I want to learn on all the youth athletes, that they think first, they go and think when they go on the field, think before, what does my body need to go on the field?
Yeah.
And if the athlete knows that, that's the first biggest step you can do.
And you mainly point them towards, I guess, non-processed foods instead of supplements or other things. How do you...
And supplements can be Nutucan Extra. But first, the first layer is the basic nutrition. The next layer, it's not, okay, first the basic nutrition and then, but you can combine it, of course. Sports drinks, sports nutrition, like the gels, the drinks, like the chewing gums, etc., or protein shakes. When and where does it fit in? And supplements, of course, you give supplement advice, but first you want to see what the values are in the blood. So you do the blood tests, and then you check if the athlete needs the supplements, like vitamin D, or needs iron, or it's all a part of the plan.
Yeah, and all very specific to a certain person.
Yeah.
Right. So for the people who don't have a Esther on standby, who can call them up and say, like, hey, I need a blood test, how can they like improve their own dieting if they don't have all those inputs?
The supplements is it can be important if you have a deficiency. You need the supplements, of course, but the first and the main thing is to get your basic nutrition right. That's so important. If you're you need to know, okay, I have a training session of 2 hours. It's in high intensity. The first hour is moderate, and the next hour is more intense, or the other way around. You need to think, okay, what amount of carbohydrates do I take in the first session? And the step before is, what do I eat and drink with the breakfast? What do I eat and drink before training session? How many hours are between like the breakfast and the training session? What do I eat and drink in the first hour of the training session, and what's the second? And if I'm finished, what do I eat and drink after training? That's what you need to learn. That's the most important step. And then you'd see, okay, what do I drink? What kind of brand do I prefer during the exercise? And there are a couple of supplements which can help you during intense training sessions. For example, beta-alanine, for example, caffeine, of course. But you need to train it before you go out on the match day, because everyone is different and reacts different on that kind of stuff. Yeah. It's all part of a plan. And if you don't have a plan, you go everywhere. And what you also have is, when you don't have a plan, you see something on internet, on Instagram. Oh, that can maybe help me. Whoop, you buy it. But if you have a plan, you are not that vulnerable. You think, okay, no, it's not suits my plan. I don't buy it. I go.
I like that idea. So have a certain thing for yourself set, and then don't let influences from outside get in.
Yeah, and what's also important thing is that it gives rest in your head. Because if you are not having a plan, you go everywhere, and your head is really, really busy every time. And if you are feeling busy in your head, you cannot perform well. That's you need to have your focus. And if you are focused, feeling well, rest well, have the talent, you can go to really high, to really high places. Yeah.
Yeah. And is there also, if you look at the sports nutrition in general, right? You're mainly working with high performance athletes.
Also,
more regular people.
More regular people.
Regular people.
Yeah, regular people. They are your biggest group.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And is there things that you always tell them, because they don't have like a set schedule that they have to perform like on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever? Is there also like small tips that you have for people that are listening that might not be top athletes but want to implement some stuff?
First, you need to think about a goal. Okay. The first step is, what is my goal? Do I need to lose weight? Or, for example, there are a lot of like normal cyclists, but there are a lot of men and women. They train a lot of hours.
Yep.
You have the Transalp or the Cape Epic or Transrockies. There are the cycling, the mountain bike cycling big competitions. Oh. And there are a lot of cyclists. They are not professional, but they train a lot of hours in a week. The triathlon, running, you see like the marathon. There are a lot of people running the marathon, and they are not professional, but they need to have a plan. If you want to run the marathon in October, for example, you need to think in January, do I need to lose weight? With what kind of brand do I want to run and train? So that's what you need to, you need to practice. And if you think about that in July, you're too late. And then you go on Instagram and internet and TikTok and all the stuff, and you see all the input and everything and all the products, you are lost. So the first thing you need to do, if you want to perform on what level, and for you want to get the best out of it, start with a plan, and you can make your own plan.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
I like that idea. And so you're basically
for example, if you want to run, you buy good shoes. I hope you buy good shoes.
Yeah, I just bought a few weeks
all the
ago.
Clothes, you have good clothes here, but shoes are the most important stuff. And then at the end, people think about nutrition sometimes when it's too late. And of course, with running the marathon and cycling, nutrition is really important. So you need to think about it. You buy shoes, you think about the nutrition. You buy your bicycle. You buy your bicycle, think about nutrition. You buy clothes, think also about the nutrition. It's the same package.
It's more of a holistic view on on sports performance.
You think about sleep, you think about all the stuff. So nutrition is just as important as sleep.
Yeah. So we don't want people to go on Instagram and TikTok. What are sources that people can go to, except for your podcast, of course? People can
you have information and you have misinformation. There is also a lot of good information and on the internet, of course. But it's really difficult to see if you don't have the expertise. Okay, that guy looks good. You believe it. So that's that's the world we live in right now.
Yeah, sadly it is. Do you have any recommendations for like good websites or sources that you use yourself for information on sports nutrition? Or
I follow. There is a good. There are a lot of good experts. You have a Dutch one that's called Asker Jeukendrup. He's a professor in sports nutrition, and he has mysportscience.com. Maybe it's a little bit, for some people, a little bit difficult, but there is a really good amount of information he puts on his platform. We have, there is also a good, like fit.nl. It's also a Dutch website. There's a lot of good articles they write, You have the, let me think. I come back later.
Sure. Yeah. Maybe we put some in the notes of the podcast. And also your podcast, of course, where you go into detail. Maybe
it's in Dutch. My podcast is in Dutch.
Well, there are some Dutch listeners to that. So and if not, I can translate it for people if they want to have the notes of your podcast. So about that podcast, why did you start it yourself, and what was your mission with that?
First, I like to give people good information about my profession. It hurts when you see a lot of misinformation on the Instagram and in social media. And I'm not making all the fancy filmpjes or movies, and so I really like to talk with people. And I did some television work. I was a dietitian on television, so I really like to talk, and I thought maybe that's something I need to start, make my own podcast, because I thought it was nice to do, and it is nice, but a lot of work. And now I'm talking with a lot of experts out of my work colleagues, and they all want to share their information with me and with my listeners. I'm proud of it. Yeah,
of course. It is really cool, and also how we found you is through the podcast itself. So,
and it's not only sports. What I do is, the last episode is about behavior, but I also have an episode about the microbiome. And I think for athletes, it's also important that they know the microbiome, because it's really important for your health and your immune system. And it's not only for the normal people, but also for athletes. So I also always make the combination for health, sports, and nutrition. Like the immune system is also important for athletes, and they need to know when they train hard that their immune system is really low. So I think it's really important that they realize that when they have running a marathon, that the days after a marathon, you need to be careful of getting not ill because of the immune system. So that's what I want to share with my listeners. And it's also about losing weight, of course, and about protein and all the information and misinformation about protein and magnesium. Don't forget the magnesium.
Tell me about the magnesium.
That's magnesium is like the hype now in supplement land. Everyone ask your people around you, do you use supplements? I think that a lot of people in my practice are using magnesium. And I did ask a lot of professors and experts, why do we need magnesium? And all they say is, there is no scientific evidence that you need magnesium. There is no get used to supplement magnesium. There is no deficiency with a lot of people. A lot of people have no deficiency of magnesium, almost none. So why are we selling and buying magnesium? And so I thought I'd make my own podcast and see what you need if you're eating like normal healthy food, like whole wheat bread or like pasta, eating nuts, your vegetables, beans, etc. You get enough magnesium, so your body doesn't need it.
But people assume that they need it because it's a new hype.
It's marketing, and all the brands making you like, you need magnesium because of this, and this. But that's not the evidence. Of course, you need, for example, magnesium for a lot of processes in our body. And if you are deficient, you have a deficiency, then it's not good for the body. But we don't see any deficiency, only if you're really, really, really sick. There are only, that is in my podcast too, like illness with your intestines, of course. That's okay, maybe you need more magnesium, but that's when you're
really rare.
It's really rare.
So a lot of people don't need it, but they use it because they think it helps them perform.
I see the strange things on my practice. I said, okay, why do you use magnesium? Because I can sleep or I better. Have restless legs, or I have cramp. My physio is telling me to get the magnesium, or Yesterday I heard there was someone who said to me, okay, Esther, that there was a strange reason why. I'd never heard of the reasons why you should take magnesium. It was, let me think, it was, ik moet even nadenken. Het was een mevrouw die had een heel rare, I don't think.
Maybe we'll find it later. But people find it crazy excuses to, or they see something online like, hey, are you also tired of work? Maybe you need some magnesium. Stuff like that.
And also I want to warn people, if you're taking a lot of supplements, or maybe 3 or 4 different supplements, be careful that in every supplement are more supplements in it. So for example, if you take magnesium in a different ways, there is almost always vitamin B6 or other stuff in it. So if you take 2 or 3 different pills, be careful of the
auxiliary things that are in there as well.
So if you count it everything, you maybe come up with 400-500 times more than it's the advice.
It's supposed to be. And can it also hurt? Because I've heard or saw some of those videos that you made, like, oh yeah, it doesn't matter if you take too much because you just take it out of your body anyhow. So if it doesn't hurt, why not take it?
That's not always the case. Except not for, like, example, basic B6. It can be harmful. So it's not okay. I take it and I. If my body doesn't need it, I
you'll
get rid of it.
Get rid of it through sweat or pee or whatever.
Yeah. That's not always the case. So be careful. And that's why it's always. Yesterday I was searching for like products with a cyclist, and if you want to take carbohydrates during exercise, a lot of sport drinks are also add vitamins with it. And I think, okay, if I want to take vitamins, I take a vitamin pill, or for example. But if you are taking a vitamin pill and also sports drink with extra vitamins, or gels with extra vitamins. It's counting. So be careful with it. Yeah. So always read the
ingredient list.
The ingredient list, yes.
So, and basically what you're saying is just stick to just regular food, and if you've done your blood work, then you can know if you have a deficiency somewhere.
That's like the
ideal situation. Would you like everyone to do a blood test? Yeah. Should it be mandatory? Maybe every once a year, or
maybe once in a year it's too much for everyone. But in a lot of countries there is, you can have a blood test much more often than what we're doing here. And I think it's also for the cholesterol, for the blood glucose, for a lot of prevention. It's better. I think, of course, it's expensive, but getting ill, it's more expensive. So
there should be a lot more
prevention is much better.
I've actually never done my blood work, so now that I'm thinking of it, I should do it definitely sometime soon. But maybe it's good to have a little bit of a lobby to the government as well. Like, hey, maybe you should do like a mandatory checkup for everyone, and then we can see what's wrong, and then heal people before they get ill.
Yeah, for example, with the blood glucose, you can check if it's not. I did a podcast about insulin resistance, and it's you can get diabetes when you are 40, but having insulin resistance when you are 25. So we need to do much more at prevention to prevent getting ill. Because when you're getting ill and being overweight, getting ill, it's so much it's so difficult to losing weight and change habits to get healthier.
Yeah. And also a lot of people might not even realize that they are unhealthy in some sense because they've never done their blood work. So like, all right, I feel fine. But in essence, they might have something wrong with them that could lead up to disease, but they don't know.
Yeah, true.
That's so weird because, I usually think like governments will make like a balance sheet. Okay, this will cost this much in prevention, but then we save this much in the end. But apparently that's not happening at all, what you see? Or
we call it... I was 2 weeks ago, I was on a book presentation of Teun van der Keuken. He's a Dutch former TV host, Koningsdienst van Waarde, and he wrote his own book, De Mens is een Plofkip. And there was someone from the government was there also. And he said that the government is really scared of betuttelingsangst.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah, of course. So they don't want people to feel like the government is trying to dictate their life and say like, oh, this is more healthy for you, so you cannot eat any meat anymore or whatever.
So they think that the play field is now for healthy products and unhealthy products is on the same level, but it's not. So I think that it's really important that the government is really making that field like
more equal.
And then you can talk about betutteling. But for now, we need to help people making the right choices. We are now here in Den Haag, and on every corner is snacks or
some fast food
chains or unhealthy food on every corner of the street. That should be changed.
Yeah, and also if you go to the supermarkets, the big brands have the biggest margin, and they put it in strategically placed places. So you walk around like, oh, that looks nice. I'm gonna treat myself tonight on some nice unhealthy whatever it might be.
People who are experts in supermarket, they told us there's 80% of all the products in the supermarkets is ultra processed food.
Yeah,
and ultra processed food makes us sick because it's empty calories, and empty calories is a lot of calories, but no nutrition. I don't get it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
no, me neither. And also you have the label with the A till E, so you have like the best product
the
in
Nutri-Score.
Nutri-Score and certain.
I'm not an expert in Nutri-Score because I thought
I mean, I think for the most people who, I think it's mainly targeted to people who don't really think about food that much, maybe, or want to have a little bit of help. But then they make it so difficult. Yeah, but it's a different category. So you can eat a pizza that has category A for those that are not Dutch. And then you have another, like nuts, for example, like raw nuts were like B or C. And I was like,
yeah, why?
Yeah.
Because maybe it's the salted one, or I don't think.
Yeah,
I
it
don't
was
know.
even unsalted. They put it like B or something. I was like, right. So for regular people, they might put it like an A to a B, and they think, okay, this is healthy, but it's a different category.
I think olive oil is like a category D.
Yeah, something like C or D. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I know that
for me, as a sports dietitian, athletes are also normal persons. They go to supermarkets. So for me, it's also important that I learn them to make the right choices. And if the food needs to have big claims on the package, then you should think, okay, I leave it behind and buy like whole wheat bread, or buy apples, bananas, dried fruit. That's normal carbohydrates stuff, and you don't need the energy bars for like €3 each.
With like the big marketing on it, or the packaging that screams like, oh, this much protein in there, or whatever.
Yeah. And that's also with the protein bars. There are a lot of protein bars, but if you are looking on the ingredient list, there are a lot of ingredients with it in it, and I think, okay, it's handy and it's practical, but it's expensive, and we don't need it.
Yeah,
that's my opinion.
And also, you see like 40 ingredients. At least a few probably not be healthy for you if they're in there. At least that's the assumption that I make. The more ingredients on there that I cannot pronounce and don't know what they are, the less likely I'm going to take it, because I don't trust it to be there in there.
And we're getting back, but if you have a plan, and in that plan says, okay, you need like, for example, with protein, it's per kilogram body weight. So for the minimum is 0.83, so 83 grams
per kilogram.
Yeah. No, 0.83.
Yeah. 0.83. Yeah.
0.83 gram per body weight. Normally, when you do like exercise, it's 1.2 up to 2 gram per kilogram body weight. If you are doing more like cardiovascular exercises, it's about 1.4, maybe less, a little bit more. And if your body weight is 70 kilos, you only need 100 grams of protein during the day. Easy with normal nutrition.
Yeah, but people don't think about it that way. They think, oh, we need to add some here, add some there. I even catch myself doing that. Like, all right, I need some I've trained hard to this, so I need an extra protein drink to go with it.
Maybe you need more like carbohydrates to get the recovery of the glycogen, and of course you need some protein, no doubt about it. But sometimes less is more than, and need to think more about the carbohydrates.
Yeah.
And fat. I don't talk about fat a lot of times, but it's something we need. We need good fat, of course. But the first steps for me is the carbohydrates and the protein, and then see
why the fat later. Is there a reason for that? Or?
For athletes is more the fuel for your muscles is carbohydrates, is glycogen, and you want to fuel up with the glycogen and with carbohydrates. So that's the first step you take with all the players. And also like a drink plan. It's also important.
Yeah.
Because dehydration is also also something you don't want, because it's if you are dehydrated, you cannot how do you say it? You cannot perform good.
Yeah, that does make a lot of sense. And people might not think about it, or do the opposite. Where, because back in the day, I remember everyone had their like drinks or Gatorades with them, and drink so much of them during like a practice or a competition that we had with track and field, where I was like, I might need one, but not like 4 in a day. But people think that more adds up to better sometimes.
Yeah, but on the other side, I see a lot of youth athletes and they drink water. But the young boys and girls are like 30 or 14 years. They are running like crazy on the field. So they need sometimes sports drinks to have some extra sugar. And then I talk to the parents, they're like, sports drinks? So sometimes sports drinks are really useful.
Definitely.
But not when you're doing like 30 minutes or exercise and then go to the canteen and buy the more sugary sports drinks and take some candies and everything. The sports canteen is also something.
It's crazy. It was it's
drinking
so
alcohol at 2 o'clock or something, and buy like friet and patat. Nee, hoe heet het? Buying fries. No buying fries in
all the deep
12.
fried stuff. Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow.
It's
that's
like
food. That's food. Food is also emotion. Food is nice, and
it's triggering as well. Like if you see like a nice deep fried or fries or something, you can just crave it, right? And then you have good marketing from whatever McDonald's, and you walk by like, I might need a burger right now because it looks really tasty.
And for me, it's also important that my message is not don't eat it at all, but we need to think about more about, okay, when do we eat it? How much is it? And is it too much? And that's what we need to learn more with the youth people. We start with youth. And what we see now in Holland here is that on the lower grade in the school till 11, 12, we say to the children, drink water and eat fruit. And from 12 to 18, you are here on the middelbare school. And then we say,
do whatever you want.
And then you go to graduate, to college. And then it's do whatever you want twice.
Yeah, and with alcohol and cigarettes.
With alcohol and cigarettes and all the stuff.
Yeah.
So, and I think for all the younger listeners, between your 20th to the 30th, I think it's the really important phase in your life. Yeah. To become healthy.
I'm just in that age range.
Yeah.
Still, I'm just in that age range still, 29. I still can hear that advice from you.
That's the phase. I'm now 50, so that's the phase where I trained a lot and learned a lot about nutrition and learned a lot about my habits. And then you can learn and change yourself. And if you learn the bad things there, it's so difficult to get them out. And after college and after you start to work, and a lot of young girls and boys are really having goals and want to earn a lot of money and work hard. And you see them grow, drinking a lot of alcohol, growing, not doing exercise or some kind of sports. And then when they are 35, they're getting burnout or some hard stuff. Yeah. So it's really important that you
start young with it.
Yeah, and try to exercise. Not some young girls and boys are doing like twice. Ik zal het even overnieuw beginnen. You find the balance between too much and not too much. So you need to be in the middle.
Yeah.
That's the most challenging part ever.
Yeah, of course.
For everything.
Yeah, and even more so now because on social media, whatever it is, you see all the success, right? You see the top athletes, or you see people who are whatever, even earning or pretending to earn a lot of money, or having great careers. So everyone is living up to some expectation that they put it themselves.
And what I also say to my athletes, consistency is the key.
Yep.
It's not doing 3 months, everything good, perfect. No, you need to do it not 3 months, not 6 months. You need to do it the rest of your career. And if you do it for a long period of time, it's going to be a habit. So you don't need to think about it. And if you don't need to think about it, it gives rest in your head. It gives space in your head. And then you can think about other stuff you want to getting better, to become become the best in the world or something. It's all about hard work, consistently think about it every time.
And maybe typing on that or going forward from that point, also a part there is consistency also comes with injuries, right? So there's also a lot of people who have maybe their goals set or do the consistency, but they get injured a lot. How does nutrition play into
injuries?
Is there good evidence for that, or?
I think when you train hard and not eating well, you're getting much quicker. Yeah, the injuries are there. Yeah.
It happens.
It happens.
Yeah.
And what I think, but that's not scientific. Is
disclaimer.
For sure. Is when you're in the growing phase, you grow really quick in the growth phase, and you're not eating well. Then that's a really important phase for the rest of the life, I think. So if you are growing a lot and not eating well, I think there is more a chance on getting injured than when you're growing, eating well, getting more rest. Then your body gets stronger and have the time to get stronger. Because when you're like growing 20 or 30 centimeters in a small period of time, your body needs the rest, your body needs the nutrition, to get more stronger. And if you train a lot and not resting and not eating well, maybe there is the start of getting more injuries when you're getting older.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a good stuff to get a research. Yeah. To follow youth athletes. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because it also kind of happened to me where I had a lot of injuries when I was younger and growing quickly.
Yeah.
But also not eating well. And training like 6-7 times a week and get really messed up in my body. But never thought about it that way. But I just came to mind how interesting it might be.
My expertise as a sports dietitian is also more in the youth athletes.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot to learn about nutrition also in the growing phase. Yeah, nutrition then is really important because there are so many things are changing in that body. And also what I'm also doing in telling to the athlete is, maybe you need more rest. And if you have a good bond with your athlete and also with the trainer, you can tell to the trainer, okay, maybe for the athlete it's better to take some
days
more
off.
Rest. 2 days off. Because when you're an athlete and want to perform, you want to train hard.
Yep.
But sometimes it's also better to relax more. And that's also a mind fuck, because you want to train, and then you get an advice, okay, take some time, rest a little bit, eat well, and then later on we do the next phase. That's also training. That's also a part of becoming a better athlete. Yeah, not always give everything 100%, but also take
step back.
Yeah. And especially in the phase when people are developing. And then what I also see is, for example, with weight class sports like boxing or judo or rowing, that a lot of athletes are on a low energy diet, train really a lot, develop, their body is not finished yet. That's really
it's the worst
tough.
Because
that's
they want to make weight,
scenario.
Right? They want to be like 70 kilograms or below and keep that.
Yeah, and the body is not finished yet. With judo, it's really difficult because when you're in the weight category and like, for example, a young guy is growing really fast, they need to go to the next weight group. And it's not possible because then you new contestants and new people where you need to fight against, and maybe older people. So they said to me, Esther, I need to stay in that group, in the lower weight group, but it's not possible. Then you get really low energy diets. It's terrible. That's the worst case scenario.
Yeah, because you're growing, so you need to change regardless, right?
Yeah.
No.
You can also, for example, with the younger guys, when they finished growing, they immediately start also growing like physique. They get more muscle tissue, and muscle tissue is weight. So normally the weight is good because you get muscle, but if you have the weight sports issue there, then you don't want to have more like 2-3 kilos of muscle tissue in a short period of time, because you cannot compete in that weight class. It's really a challenge.
Yeah,
that should change.
Yeah. Also with in fighting sports, you have with the UFC that they do the weight cutting right before they have to make weight. Yeah. People almost die during that, or they develop like crazy illnesses because of that.
Yeah.
Because they cut like 15 kilograms or something in like a few weeks to just make that weight before the fight.
Mm-hmm. But also, this is an example. If you can lose like 3, 4, maybe 5 kilos, but it needs to be a part of your plan.
Yeah.
So if you know it and you're up to it, and then talk to the sports dietitian and make a plan, to get your goal, to lose weight in a sensitive way, or not in a losing weight in a good manner, in a good way. That's always the best thing, because if you don't do that, you get injured.
Yeah, it's also the same. I feel I watched some documentaries about it. It's like fighting athletes, and they almost die before they have to make weight. Mm-hmm. And they sometimes they say like, I'd rather die before I don't make the weight. And it's they look like skeletons almost. It cannot be healthy for you. Lose all the moisture in their body as well. Everything gets out, and then it's crazy stuff.
I'm not working with that. That's not my expertise.
No.
But I see with the judo, with the youth athletes. Yeah, and it's worrying, because then you see that there is a lot of also eating issues, and and if you're sensitive to it, you get an eating problem. So that's also something we need to take care of. That when I work with youth athletes, that they are not getting eating problems, because you don't want to have an eating disorder. And I think with all the stuff you see on the internet, and if you are sensitive to it, it's so easy to getting an eating disorder right now.
Yeah,
because you want to have that perfect picture, have the abs, and to see the abs, and being sitting low in your fat percentage, and it's really I want to be as low as I can, but it's not healthy.
No. And also a lot of the things are photoshopped, so some might not even be realistic at all. Yeah,
don't tell me about it. Yeah, I think sometimes it's a tough world, and we see perfect pictures from bodies, and and a lot of bodies it's investing in health for a long period of time.
Yeah.
And if you're 21 and have like that kind of muscles, and you see it on Instagram, I don't think normally it's natural.
No. Sometimes you see guys that are like 18 or 19 years old, like crazy shoulders or crazy physiques now, and then they sell some protein powder to kids.
Yeah.
You're like, stop being fake about it.
Yeah.
There was one, I'm not sure which country it was, maybe you know, but they wanted to force like influencer people on social media, like, hey, if you've altered your photos in any way, or you've taken whatever other supplements to achieve this physique, then you have to include that in your post or somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. It was just an idea.
But that's not the rules.
Yeah,
that's what I mean about the rules.
Yeah.
If you fake something, you need to say it.
Yeah. Of course.
But I say it. It sounds stupid. They don't say it, of course, but it's
They should. I think at least an attempt to it, or make people more aware.
Be honest. And also be honest. If you have a problem with eating, and you are skinny, you see a lot of girls are so skinny, and I think, oh, some girls are skinny naturally, but a lot of have to. Yeah, I don't think, okay, if you are having an eating disorder or something, tell it, because it's
That's difficult. I
yeah.
think that might be one of the hardest things, because they have an image of themselves that they want to have, or that is never enough. Cannot imagine how hard it must be for some kids.
And not everyone has an eating
No, of
disorder.
course not.
Of course, you need to be also sensitive. And
Yeah.
That's not for everyone, but I see it, of course, a lot of times.
Yeah, it only makes sense because there's so much out there on social media that portrays certain types of bodies.
And it's not only girls. I see a lot of boys. I speak to a lot of boys who are training like 2 times a day, want to get rid of their fat and want to see their abs, and have a list with all kind of stuff they don't want to eat or drink because it's unhealthy. And that starts with there, and then they want to train more, eating less unhealthy stuff, and the list of what they want to eat is getting smaller and smaller, and then they don't want to go out with eat the lunch, for example, outside, because they don't know what's inside in it. And then you start like really a
harmless little thing,
a harmless little thing, and it's getting bigger in your head, and then you have an eating disorder.
Yeah, it's sad times. Hopefully it'll get better in the future.
Yeah, and I say it because I see it a lot of times. And they don't go, because we have, of course, the GGZ. We have like, for the really strong eating disorder diseases like anorexia, bulimia, we have, of course, our hospitals and the psychologist for it. But there is also a layer under it. And it's not really an eating disorder, but
kind of touching on it.
And I think that group is really big.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Yeah. So
hopefully it gets better in the future in a sense.
And food is so nice. Food is it's emotion. Food is also nice to eat with your colleagues, and nice. It's so important in our lives, and it's but we need to be focused, but not too much. And you need to also be critical on what you're doing and eating and drinking. And not for 3 months, but
make it a habit.
Make it a habit for it, and that's the most challenging part. And if you feel like, I cannot do it by myself, ask help. There are a lot of experts, they can help. Sometimes 1 or 2 sessions is all really making the difference. Sometimes I see people for 1 session and they say, Esther, glad that I hear it from you. And it's really nice to help people then.
Yeah, of course. That's the best thing that you can do, I think, in the world, help people.
And for me, some people say, it's also 10 years ago it was difficult because I live in a small village, and I went to Amsterdam, the big village, and everything in Amsterdam is different. There are a lot of vegan, there are a lot of, you can eat anywhere. There are a lot of people, they don't cook, they go out every night. And at my place, everyone is eating at the table and with the children or with the partner and cook, etc. And then you go to the big city and then there is food everywhere. So that was also a big thing for me, and I just need to reinvent. Okay, Esther, what is where you stand, and what do you want to? What you want?
What is your plan?
What is my plan?
Yeah.
And that was also a challenge. But my plan is first the normal nutrition, just the basic food, and then and no supplements. I don't use any supplements except the vitamin D in winter.
Yeah, But vitamin D is not even a vitamin, right? It's what the thing is, because your body cannot make it, or the body makes it itself or something like that.
The body can make itself.
Yeah, and other vitamins you cannot.
You cannot make no. The vitamin D we can make it
with the sun.
With the sun, yeah.
So it's not really a vitamin, right?
I don't know. We call it vitamin.
Yeah, I think that was. I read it somewhere that it was not really a vitamin because your body makes it itself. So you cannot class it as vitamin, but people still do. But maybe
whatever. It's not.
It's good for you in the winter.
It's good in the winter. Yeah.
Awesome. So I think already a lot of cool things that that we spoke about.
I hope my English was good enough.
Yeah, it was fine.
For sure.
You did great. No worries. If people want to listen to your podcast or want to learn more about you,
it's in Spotify, on all the podcast channels.
Yeah. So we'll link down in the description. And what is the name of the podcast?
Voedingspraat.
So it's food talk in Dutch.
Food talk. Yeah.
So
and maybe because I see in Amsterdam, of course, a lot of foreign people, and it's also good to have some episodes in English.
Maybe, and also this one is in English already, so we can send this to the people. And
I can put it on my episode list.
We could do that. Awesome. Well, thanks for dropping by. I very much enjoyed this conversation. Thanks for all the wise words, and hopefully everyone learned something new. I did at least, so that's already really cool. So thanks for dropping by, and let's catch up. The invitation. Of course. Let's catch up again in a little while when you've done all the cool stuff. And awesome. Thanks for listening, everyone. Bye bye.